Welcome back to the ADHD Advantage YouTube channel, and I've had a bit of time away for a few reasons. Firstly, I felt that these sort of daily vlogs that I was doing, these daily catch-ups, were getting a little bit monotonous. There wasn't like anything new to report, but more importantly, my laptop actually broke. So I had a MacBook, and little tip for you guys, if you've got a MacBook, don't buy a cheap charger and charge it, because now my MacBook is wrecked. And I've had to buy a new one. So, yeah, that's why I've not been so active on here. I will start uploading again. Just trying to think about the sort of content. But what has been nice is people sort of questioning whether I'm coming back or if I'm still taking medication. So there's obviously people watching this who are genuinely interested, which is why I started this channel in the first place. So, what's been happening? Quite a bit. I'm 3 months in at the moment, but today's topic, I want to talk to you about how ADHD medication isn't like this life-changing pill that's just going to change your whole persona, fix all of your ADHD tendencies overnight. It's really, really not. And I had a bit of a light bulb moment with this. So, for those of you that don't know, and I'm not sure how this works elsewhere, but I paid to go private, so I had a private diagnosis, and then every month I have a private review until I'm stabilised on my medication. So 1 month in, and bear in mind I was paying a lot of money for this. I was paying like 350, might be more than £350 a month, and that was for the monthly review, and that was for the medication. But I was getting like 3-4 weeks in, and I was coming up to my review, and I was seriously debating if I was making the right decision. One, because there was a lot of expense involved in it, and two, because the changes weren't so obvious. They weren't like jumping out at me. And I was filling out the questionnaire. So they have like a questionnaire that's like a prerequisite to you go into your review. And it was asking loads of normal health stuff. What's your blood pressure? What's your heart rate? Then it was asking if you had any like vomiting or nausea, bad stomach, all of that other stuff that's health related. Then it was also asking a few more probing questions about focus. Now, my focus had improved drastically, but I couldn't really think of much else that was like a highlight that I had improved on. And when I sat down with the doctor, so Gerard is his name, and this guy is amazing. I will try and get some links down below to him and the people that he worked for, because he is really, really good. And he was sort of questioning me, and when he was asking me these questions, he obviously knew what he was doing. He was probing me for information. And firstly, he'd obviously looked back through my notes, and he realised that one of the big things I wanted to take away from ADHD medication was being able to be better in social situations. Now, that'd be weird. If any of you actually know me personally, you know that I am quite sociable, but I struggle sometimes with like cues, like when to jump into a question, or when to jump into a conversation, or half the way through a conversation, I'll be thinking about what I want to say next because they've said something that sparks my interest, and I'll lose track of the conversation. I'll miss my social cue to jump in. So there's a few like oddities like that that I was sort of aware of that I wanted to improve on, and I also wanted to improve on my, I always call it conflict resolution. It's not really conflict, but you know, like if you have a family, then you have disagreements all the time, and that's perfectly normal. But I quite struggle with those sort of disagreements. So much so that I don't really argue with people or try not to disagree. Maybe not try not to disagree. I think anybody that does know me knows that I'm quite opinionated, but I'll just try and get away from those heated situations. Like I'll just walk away from them, or I'll just leave it. And that's not really healthy. I think like good, healthy people, and if you can communicate well, you just talk through them, you know, like you hear their side, you put your side across. If they've still got differences of opinion, then that's absolutely fine. But I do struggle with those sort of situations. And part of that's because I'm an only child. So I'm an only child, and not only that, I end up living with my dad from the age of 12. So my dad never really told me off. So there was no like conflict there. I didn't have any brothers and sisters. You know, those like little niggles you have with your brothers and sisters. Didn't really have any of that because I didn't have any brothers and sisters. So I sort of missed out on quite a lot of that like family stuff that comes, that makes you like, that sets you up for later life. So anyway, yeah, he's asking me these questions. Firstly, he's asking me about social cues. And then I'm thinking, actually, yeah, I remember a time when I sat down with my colleague, we was having dinner, and I was just engaged in this conversation. Now, I still did want to jump in a little bit and I had to hold myself back, but I wasn't spending the whole time trying to hold myself back, if that makes any sense. And then when it comes to like relationships and like how I am with my partner, and like I said, like because I struggle with those sort of difficult conversations, I didn't really know, didn't have an answer for that. And he said, well, why don't you go and ask your partner? So I was actually upstairs in our dressing room at the time on the video call. And I said, okay, hold the call. So I held the call. I ran downstairs, spoke to my partner, and she was like, yeah, you've been like a lot more empathetic. You've been really understanding. We haven't like had any like rows. It's just been like we've talked them through. And I was like, wow. And I think some of that stuff you're not really like, it's not jumping out at you like, it's not like you're taking some like drug that's going to make you really pumped up, that's going to make you really aware that you're on it, and then you like you can see what you're doing at the time. It's more subtle. So I think my elongated point here is like trying to stick it out for a while. Now I'll go on to how I'm feeling like more and more, but that was like the end of the 1 month period, and that really was a game changer for me about like it is just you're still you, and I think that's the biggest thing, like the really important thing. You're still yourself, you're just a better version of yourself. And I'm not actually having any negative side effects that I can put my finger on. The only downside that I would say, and this is bad for me, might be great for someone else, is I'm really struggling to put weight on. So I'm someone that's always either trying to lose fat to get in shape for like maybe a holiday, or I'm trying to put weight on because I want to be bigger, I want to put some muscle on. And at the moment, I'm really struggling. Like I'm eating like 3,200 calories and the weight's just not going on me at all. Which, I mean, some people that'd be good, but for me, it means I'm going to have to eat more and more and more. But the good side of that is I'm not going to get too fat. You know, if I ate, say, 3,000 calories, which I have done in the past, and I've put weight on, I've put bad weight on, I'll get fat quite easy. But when you've got to eat and you're slowly going up in the calories, then it allows you to like maintain your composition a little bit more. But that's more like me and my physique, and I know this channel's more about ADHD. So yeah, the big takeaway is just please stick it out, give it some time. And if you have gone private, I know it can be a struggle financially. Like I was just thinking every month, like, oh, do I really want to be paying this 300 and whatever it was? I can't remember now, 350, 380, whatever. It's a lot of money, isn't it? You know, no matter how much money you're on, and especially when you don't feel like you're getting too much from it. But there's two things here. Firstly, like it's a long process where you get better and better over time because your brain's developing, your brain's learning these new skills, your brain's learning to be calmer in certain situations. So that's one thing that develops over time. It does take time to like, get better and better and better. The second thing is, well, if you do go private, you go to your shared care agreement as soon as you stabilise. So I've just signed on to my shared care agreement now, where I've gone from paying, let's say it's $350 a month, and now I'm going to be paying £120 a year to get my medication. So like the cost has come down drastically. It's like £10 a month, which is really, really good. And yeah, I'll come on to more of my medication because there's been some alterations to that, some changes. I'll also talk a bit about focus in previous videos because that's something that's changed over the course of the months. Not necessarily for the better either, but I'm no worse off than I was before I started. And yeah, again, we'll touch on, you know, like I'm quite passionate about starting businesses, working for yourself, creating a job that works for you. So I'll touch on a bit more of that in future videos as well. But thanks for getting this far. Please do comment down below anything. I've not got a massive following on here, but it's been really good to see people are actually engaged. And what's been really reassuring for me is even when I haven't posted for like a month now, 2 months maybe, I'm still getting likes, I'm still getting comments, I'm still getting views. So it shows that people do want to see this sort of content. So thank you very much. And like I say, if you do want to see anything, drop it down below and I'll do some videos or I'll write back to you, I'll comment back, whatever it is. Cool, thank you very much.